Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, I'm going to keep the video short today because the big picture story is that we had a steep drop yesterday and there is going to be a dead cat bounce this morning. And I think the way up is not a straight line. It's going to be a zigzag because as we keep on going up, there will be bears selling down and then we'll keep on buying up. And each buying up opportunity is going to be either the lack of bad news or some positive catalyst coming from the earnings. So that's the way I'm looking at it. The only way everything can go down is if many of these earnings which are expected this week from the Mag 6 are pessimistic about the future outlook, then I think all bets are off. We're going to fall down. So that's the big story out there, and I don't want to embellish it too much. If you look at the indices out here, these are index futures. Dow futures are down 0.05, S&P future is up 0.18, and Nasdaq futures are up 0.33%. So the market is still in the process of deciding what to do, but I am thinking personally that it's going to be a jump. Now GM has bet Wall Street estimates and forecasts another year of strong earnings. So this is a very positive news for the market. So this definitely has to factor into the spirits for the market today and support the upward movement. And as I mentioned earlier in my video yesterday as well, this DeepSeek reaction has been phenomenal and it's been overdone in my opinion. Whatever happens with DeepSeek, the fact remains that the need for semiconductor chips is not going to go down. In fact, if somebody can do a whole lot of things, if it is true that DeepSeek is doing a whole lot of high performance AI work with older chips, then I think the question is why can't OpenAI, Meta, Google and Microsoft do something more spectacular with H100 chips, and why can't they do something even bigger with Blackwell? So that's the way I would look at it. So I think it's all overblown, especially the semiconductor sell-off is overblown in my opinion. It can definitely give a pause for these big tech companies who are big AI LLM companies because their shareholders are going to be questioning how come they're not doing as good. But let me also predict something. Most of the news media will now start carrying stories that say that DeepSeek is not as good as it seems and that it's being censored, and it gives the information for as per the Chinese philosophy of whatever China believes is the worldview, and especially expect more stories about Taiwan, queries to DeepSeek about Taiwan, and the answers not being consistent with the way we understand it out here in the West. So those are the kind of stories that may come up to take the sheen of DeepSeek. And I think as retail investors, we have to have a clear view of the logical progression. Sooner or later, the market will come to that direction. I think the biggest market out there is in the G7, and everything that is needed to build the platform, whether it is networking chips or whether it is GPUs, all of those are still intact in terms of demand. So that is the big story. Now let's look at the disclaimer and then we'll do our review of the AI watch list. Let's get started. Welcome back, friends. Now we are looking at the TradingView platform, and I'm looking at Google. I can see that Google is up 0.54%. It is still within the bull flag and it's above the diagonal line of support from a previous bull channel. Everything is looking good for Google, and we have earnings coming up on 4th February. And if Google manages to give a positive outlook for the future, then I think the market will still be intact. We have Tesla, which is down 0.19%. I would chalk that up to pre-earnings jitters, and the earnings are due tomorrow after business. And I think that that's also playing into the market today. I think the other aspect also is the overhang of all the things that Elon Musk is doing outside of Tesla, because that definitely rubs on the market demand, and also the complications that Tesla will face navigating various governments where they are selling their products, like across China and Europe. So every action of the CEO is going to have an equal and opposite reaction from those jurisdictions, which can definitely put a damper on Tesla sales. So I'm thinking that we have to stay away from Tesla for the time being, watch how it goes. There will always be opportunities to buy into Tesla at a later time. Apple is up 0.06%. The new AI rollout on all the iPhones, the new operating system, is being reviewed by the public right now. And if there is no bad news out there, then I think that we are going to see further uptake for Apple. It has successfully managed to complete the gap fill on the way up. and I think we are above the 200-day exponential moving average and in a long-term bull channel. So it's all okay with Apple as for today. Now, Meta is the strongest among the Mag 7. It's doing extremely well. It's up 0.34% today after being up yesterday when there was a bloodbath overall. We have earnings coming up on 29th of January. Again, as I mentioned, for Google and for Apple and for Meta and Amazon and Microsoft, for all of them, their outlook for the next quarter is also going to determine the spirit for the markets. And then we have Amazon, which is down 0.58%, but it still remains in this bull channel. And we have the earnings coming out on the 6th of February. Microsoft is down 2.14% as of yesterday's trading session. That was a steep drop out there. But I think today, pre-market, it's up 0.10%. There's a lot of evaluation of how valuable OpenAI's LLM would be, the ChatGPT would be. Next, we look at Microsoft, which was down significantly yesterday and then started picking up. It was provided support by this bullish line of support from a previous bull channel, and this morning we are up another 0.12%, trying to fill the gap down that we had seen here. And we have the earnings coming up tomorrow post market hours, and I think that if we get a positive reading for the next quarter from Microsoft, if they give a positive outlook, the overall market will also be good and will continue to be in this bull channel. NVDA is up 3.34% this morning in pre-market action. That takes it above the 200-day exponential moving average, which is the first building block for repairing price chart. And I think we have got a lot of headwinds above us. 130.15 is one of the major resistances that we are going to go through. There are two more resistances that we have to navigate today. One is at 127.55. I'm going to mark that red. And the other one happens to be at 126.20, which also I'm going to mark red, and we need to break through both of them. We are almost halfway up yesterday's descent, yesterday's candle, and I think that looks good. This kind of proves what I was talking about. Fundamentally, chips still are needed. It's the LLMs that are going to be affected by DeepSeek in any way, but the chip demand should remain intact, so I'm liking this. And then we have Qualcomm, which is down 0.22% this morning. AMD is down 0.04%. FNGU reflects the overall FANG stocks, and it's up 2.07% this morning. I'm expecting FNGU to challenge our resistance, which is at 612.90 today, and to convert that into a support. That's what I'm looking forward to. Broadcom is up 2.35% today after having fallen steeply yesterday. It's recovered almost half of the losses this morning in pre-market action. It's still above the 200-day exponential moving average. It has done a little bit of a gap fill from previous, and this morning it's looking positive. We have Oracle, which is up 2.07% in pre-market trades, recovering almost 1/4 of what it lost yesterday, almost 40% I would say of what it lost yesterday, still above the 200-day exponential. So I would say that we are still bullish in Oracle. Palantir is up 0.56% after having a gap down yesterday, and it has opened up in pre-market session above yesterday's close. So I think we are looking at a little bit of strength out here for Palantir, and the earnings are due on 3rd of February. So overall, I think it's a positive news story out here. I also want to cover two more stocks out here. One is SMH, which is the semiconductor ETF, which is still above the 200-day exponential moving average, and there is a huge gap down here from yesterday. And I'm thinking that SMH is going to fill up this gap down because various companies, semiconductor companies in this ETF, are going to gain in the next few days. And of course, this move back up to fill up this gap is not going to be a single straight move. It's going to be a little bit of zigzag because there'll be a lot of profit taking on the way back up. AV, which again, I think I would put it into a drone and defense stock. It's down 0.50 this morning. I think there's a huge gap fill potential out here. And as the new administration takes over and there's a lot of geopolitical tension, like renaming various parts of the world unilaterally and trying to buy various parts of the world, I think we are going to see a lot more money being spent in the defense sector across the world. I think AV will be a beneficiary, being the next gen defense company. Now we have the other company that I want to talk about with this, which is Rigetti. Rigetti is up 4.34%, and it's just recovering the losses that it had incurred earlier, which I think was a whole lot of overselling out there. So I think this is moving in the right direction. The SMR also, I thought yesterday, was overreacting. Regardless of whatever happens with DeepSeek, all these data centers still need energy and power. So I don't think that it was a very good reaction for SMR to drop so much. There has been a huge gap down. So it's all a lot of jitters. I think it's also going to pick up on the way back again, and we are seeing the first installment of the pickup today with a gain of 2.96%. And as I said, the way up is not going to be a straight line, it's going to be zigzag. So that brings me to an end of this AI segment. I'd like to do some disclosures here. Yesterday I bought around 7 FNGU, and I also bought a little bit of NVDA on my Canadian side. I also bought a little bit of Amazon on my Canadian side. So those were the trades that I did yesterday. I'll do a disclosure of the portfolio this weekend. I'm going to do it once in a couple of weeks, or in a frequency where you can see changes in my portfolio. So I'll disclose all of the gains that has been made and the losses that has been made so far by the end of this week, which will be on Friday. So my friends, that brings me to an end of this video. Please let me know what you think about this market situation right now. Do you agree with me that we are going to see a bounce back? And do you agree with me that the movement upward is going to be a zigzag with profit taking, and that it will all depend on what these Mag 6 companies are going to talk about in terms of their outlook for the next quarter? With that, my friends, I'd like to bring this video to an end. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.